Tonight, communities are on edge with more suspicious sightings in the night sky, what federal officials are now saying, and the resources they're sending to local communities. State and local officials across the Northeast are demanding answers and more high-tech resources. An airport outside New York City shut down for a time this weekend after reported drone sightings. The arrests overnight by Boston authorities, 2 men accused of operating a drone near Logan Airport. Thousands of tips flooding in, but how many are really drones? And are some planes or helicopters? What we're learning tonight. The alleged killer of healthcare CEO Brian Thompson prepares his defense. Who's representing him? And will Luigi Mangione waive his right to fight extradition to New York City? What that could mean for the timeline of the case. Millions are on alert tonight for snow and rain that's sweeping through the I-95 corridor. Icy roads possible from the mid-Atlantic to the Northeast and in the West. A rare tornado smashes through a Northern California parking lot. Several people were hurt. Trees and power lines were down. Cars overturned. What's in store for this week? Our weather team standing by. The president-elect offers a public sign of support for some of his embattled nominees while attending the Army-Navy game. And what a new poll suggests about public confidence in Trump's picks overall. In Syria, 1 week after Assad's fall, Israel ramps up airstrikes and the Syrian rebels consolidate power. James Longman reports from Syria tonight. 2 Russian oil tankers carrying thousands of tons of oil are badly damaged off of Crimea. One can be seen breaking in two before sinking. Houston police search for suspects in a deadly mass shooting at a teen pop-up party. What police are saying about this popular social media trend. Actor Jamie Foxx is recovering after being hit by a glass at a Beverly Hills restaurant. What he's saying about that incident. The emotional moments. Colorado star Travis Hunter brings home the Heisman. What he told GMA about Coach Prime. And the legendary Dick Van Dyke, why he's thankful tonight for his neighbors.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this busy Sunday. I'm Lindsay Davis. We begin tonight with the federal government deploying additional resources to New Jersey and New York to solve the mystery behind dozens of drone sightings reported across at least 7 states. New York Senator Chuck Schumer is urging federal authorities to deploy special detection equipment that uses radio waves to spot the size and speed of drones. And Stewart International Airport, about an hour outside of New York City, temporarily closed its runways on Friday after several reports of drone sightings in the area. This is 2 men in Boston are now facing charges after police say they flew a drone dangerously close to Logan Airport. Federal officials say there's no evidence of a threat from the drones, but a growing chorus of lawmakers are calling on the government to do more. ABC's Joe O'Brien leads us off tonight.
Tonight, federal authorities now deploying additional resources to solve a high-flying mystery after a rash of reported drone sightings across the Northeast. The FBI tonight saying they're processing roughly 5,000 drone-related tips, but less than 100 have generated credible leads.
Some of those drone sightings are, in fact, drones. Some are manned aircraft that are commonly mistaken for drones, but there's no question that drones are being sighted.
And tonight, 2 men in Boston facing charges after police say they flew a drone dangerously close to that city's Logan Airport. The FAA also now confirming Stewart International Airport, roughly an hour north of New York City, temporarily closed its runways Friday night after multiple reported drone sightings in the area.
Seems like there's multiple drones all over this airport tonight, man.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul saying in a statement, this has gone too far. She's joining lawmakers in calling for states to have additional authority to confront drones. And New York Senator Chuck Schumer pushing federal authorities now to deploy special drone spotting technology.
We certainly want to first get the answers to the questions, and then we'll take further action.
Look at it.
The recent series of reported drone sightings in at least 7 states from New York to Maryland coming after dozens were reported in the skies above New Jersey, including at a naval weapons station. But federal officials tonight reiterating many of these sightings can be explained as civilian drones or planes, and there's no evidence of a foreign threat.
This one's going to fly over us right now.
New Jersey Senator Andy Kim, who posted these viral images on a drone patrol with local police, tonight saying upon closer review, most of his possible drone sightings were almost certainly planes. And Lindsay, I'm told members of the House Intelligence Committee will receive a classified briefing in the coming days on these purported drone sightings. But federal officials adamant tonight that there is no evidence of any threat. Lindsay.
Still, many remain on edge. Jay, thank you. Next tonight, the suspect in the murder of the United Healthcare CEO has hired a high-profile attorney, a former prosecutor with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Luigi Mangione is facing second-degree murder charges for the shooting earlier this month. Here's ABC's Ike Ejiochi with the new details coming in.
Tonight, Luigi Mangione, the accused shooter in the brazen killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, is adding an experienced public servant to his legal team. Mangione has retained the services of high-profile defense attorney Karen Friedman Agnifilo. For 7 years, she was second in command at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office under DA Cyrus Vance Jr. She appeared on CNN earlier this week before becoming Mangione's attorney, offering a preview of a potential defense strategy.
He was brilliant his whole life. He comes from this great family. I mean, something changed, right? Significantly, something changed. And they're going to, I think, potentially have a not guilty by reason of insanity potential defense.
Mangione is facing charges of second-degree murder in the December 4th shooting in New York City. The 26-year-old was arrested on Monday at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where he's currently being held on firearms and other charges. His attorney telling ABC News Mangione intends to plead not guilty to all of them. On Friday, Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg saying Mangione should be prosecuted in New York.
So until that time, we're going to continue to press forward on parallel paths. And we'll be ready whether he is going to waive extradition or whether he's going to contest extradition.
The motive for the killing remains unclear. United Healthcare telling ABC News that Mangione was never insured by the carrier. Now, police say they're investigating whether he allegedly targeted the healthcare giant because of its size.
Lindsay, for the moment, Mangione is expected to appear before a judge in Pennsylvania on December 23rd. Now, if he waives extradition, he could appear in court right here in New York City as early as this week. Lindsay?
The DA says he's preparing for both possibilities. Ike, thank you. Now to that rare weather event in Northern California where a devastating tornado has left several injured. This security camera captured the twister as it made landfall in Scotts Valley, leaving behind a trail of destruction, flipping over cars and downing power lines. Here's ABC's Jaclyn Lee.
Tonight, this rare tornado ripping through Northern California.
Oh my God. Oh my God, no.
The EF1 twister caught on this surveillance video, touching down Saturday afternoon about 70 miles outside of San Francisco. Those conditions continuing today, prompting the National Weather Service to issue its first ever tornado warning for San Francisco. Cars flipped, trees uprooted, knocking down utility poles, cutting the power for thousands.
We saw the tornado going down, and then it ended. It was just a blink of eye.
Yeah, I was not expecting to do that much damage, especially flip a car because cars are pretty heavy.
The extensive damage lasting for a third of a mile. At least 5 people taken to the hospital, but expected to be okay. It comes as a winter storm now moves into the northwest. In Soda Springs, California, whiteout conditions as 16 inches of snow fell in just 24 hours. Drivers stranded on I-80.
Lindsay, tornadoes are unusual in California, the state averaging just 10 per year. Lindsay.
Super unusual. Jaclyn, thank you. Let's get right to meteorologist Danny Beckstrom with our New York station WABC. And Danny, there's also a wintry mix in the Northeast tonight.
Yeah, Lindsay, it looks like a slick start to the Monday morning commute with winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings already posted from West Virginia to Massachusetts as the system brings rain, sleet and snow through the overnight hours. We're also watching for potential ice accumulations tonight from Pennsylvania to Connecticut. This is the first of a series of systems for the Northeast this week, but the temps trend milder, meaning the next round should be all rain Monday night. We're getting warmer in the Southeast too. Highs are back in the 70s in Atlanta by midweek and close to 80 for Houston and Orlando. But the warmth for the east, that's short-lived. Colder air returns ahead of the holiday where we'll stay warmer than average out west. Lindsay?
Winter weather in full effect here in the Northeast, Danny. Thank you. Next tonight, growing support for President-elect Trump's embattled cabinet picks. On Saturday, Trump attended the annual Army-Navy football game with Tulsi Gabbard and his defense secretary nominee Pete Hegseth. ABC's White House correspondent MaryAlice Parks has the latest.
President-elect Donald Trump this weekend shoring up support for his embattled cabinet nominees at the annual Army-Navy football game, saluting during the national anthem. appearing with his defense secretary pick, Pete Hegseth. Hegseth denying allegations of sexual misconduct and financial mismanagement, seeming to make progress during meetings with Republican senators ahead of confirmation hearings.
4 votes are all it's going to take to kill a nomination here, so they should take pause, do the work, build a compelling case. Pete Hegseth had a good week this week on Capitol Hill.
Also beside Trump, Tulsi Gabbard, nominated to be the Director of National Intelligence. The former congresswoman in the past seeming to defend former Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad, who was accused of using chemical weapons on his own people.
Does that give you any concerns as she faces confirmation for Director of National Intelligence?
I know Tulsi Gabbard. She's a patriot. She served our country honorably. She, I think, fits the reform agenda.
Only 3 in 10 Americans say they are extremely or very confident in Trump's cabinet picks, according to a new AP poll. Democrats, like Senator-elect Adam Schiff, sounding the alarm.
You want someone with good judgment in that position because they may very well be whispering in the ear of the president.
Schiff, who Trump says should be investigated and jailed, along with other members of the January 6th House Committee, also blasting Trump's pick for FBI Director Kash Patel.
I think if Patel is made director of the FBI, then all bets are off. I mean, this is someone who will do whatever dirty work the president wants him to do.
And another one of Trump's nominees, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., nominated to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, is also expected to be on Capitol Hill this week to meet with senators. Lindsay.
All right, MaryAlice, thank you. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is on the mend tonight after undergoing hip replacement surgery at a U.S. military base in Germany. The 84-year-old tripped and fell on Friday while attending a ceremony in Luxembourg commemorating the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. Staying overseas, Israel ramps up its assault on Syria. Overnight, Israeli military forces targeted weapon facilities and air defenses. ABC's chief international correspondent James Longman reports from Damascus again tonight.
Tonight, a week after the fall of Bashar al-Assad, Israel is expanding its operations and striking dozens of targets across Syria. Rebel leader Ahmad Shara condemning what he called misguided Israeli aggression, saying he is not interested in a conflict with Israel and instead wants to focus on rebuilding Syria. But there are competing interests in this region. While Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel has no interest in a conflict with Syria, he also says he plans to expand the building of settlements in the occupied Golan Heights to prevent terrorist elements from taking over near our border. Israel seized the border buffer zone as soon as Assad fell, and relentless airstrikes have decimated Syria's entire defensive capability. A destabilizing force in an already chaotic situation.
We're not far at all from the center of Damascus here. In fact, the ancient Umayyad Mosque in the old city is not far. And yet, look at this. Complete and utter destruction for almost about as far as the eye can see.
Events here have redrawn the geopolitical map. Iran, Hezbollah and Russia pushed out. Here, Russian vehicles seen speeding away from a base they've controlled for years. Turkey, the Gulf states and now Europe keen to engage. A French delegation will arrive in the coming days.
Lindsay, France will be the first major Western country to send a delegation here next week. In fact, it'll be their first time to Damascus in 12 years. The rebel group will be hoping other countries follow suit to support their transition. Lindsay.
James, thank you. Now to the tragedy in the French territory of Mayotte. Island officials fear that the cyclone's death toll, which is now in the hundreds, could soar to 1,000 or even higher. It's the worst cyclone to hit the Indian Ocean island off the coast of Africa in 90 years. Back here at home, actor Jamie Foxx was injured during an altercation at a Beverly Hills restaurant. Foxx is speaking out about the incident, which is being investigated by police. It comes just days after the Oscar winner revealed for the first time that a brain bleed caused him to suffer a stroke last year. Here's ABC's Phil Lipoff.
Tonight, actor Jamie Foxx is recovering after an altercation at his birthday dinner in Beverly Hills left him needing stitches. Local police received a call about an incident at the high-end Mr. Chow restaurant near Rodeo Drive just after 10 p.m. Friday night. A representative for the actor saying someone from another table threw a glass that hit Foxx in the face. It's unclear whether Foxx was involved in the fight or merely a bystander. No arrests were made, but the investigation remains ongoing. It has already been an eventful month for the Oscar winner. In his recently released Netflix stand-up special, Foxx opened up about the mysterious health crisis that put him in the hospital for several weeks last year. Foxx telling the audience a doctor gave his family a grim diagnosis.
He told my sister some horrible news about her big brother. He said he's having a brain bleed that's led to a stroke.
But now, the actor is proud he beat the odds.
Said I couldn't walk, but look at me now.
And Lindsay, Foxx appears to be keeping this positive attitude through this latest incident, writing on social media this morning, "The devil is busy, but I'm too blessed to be stressed." Lindsay?
Foxx seemingly brushing it off. Phil, thank you. There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday. The news just coming in on the Dolphins wide receiver taken off the field on a stretcher after a rough hit. The legendary Dick Van Dyke saved by his neighbors on the eve of his 99th birthday. Those details ahead. And what happened to 2 Russian oil tankers loaded with cargo off of the coast of Crimea? Next tonight, Miami Dolphins wide receiver Grant DuBose was rushed to the hospital this afternoon after suffering a head injury during a game with the Houston Texans. DuBose did not move after the hit and received immediate medical attention before being taken off of the field on a stretcher. First responders removed his face mask and helmet and appeared to cut off his jersey. The Dolphins say he is in stable condition. Authorities in Houston are appealing to the public for help after a deadly shooting overnight that killed 2 teens. 3 others were injured, including a 13-year-old listed in critical condition when gunfire erupted at a pop-up party. Police say the event was held at a makeshift club in an empty building, part of a trend that's now popular on social media. Authorities are warning teens to stay away from such events for their own safety. A cleanup operation is underway tonight in the waterway separating Crimea from the Russian mainland. 2 Russian oil tankers, potentially carrying thousands of tons of oil, ran into rough seas 5 miles from the coast. One of the ships broke apart and sank. The other ran aground. It's not clear just how much oil may have spilled. When we come back, another first for Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, what she did here in New York this weekend. To the index now. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson this weekend experienced a dream come true. The Ivy League educated jurist and first black woman on the high court made her Broadway debut with a speaking part in the musical & Juliet. Jackson wrote in her autobiography that as a child she always wanted to be the first black female Supreme Court justice to appear on Broadway. She can now check that box as well. University of Colorado star Travis Hunter is the 2024 Heisman Trophy winner. Hunter is known for explosive play on both sides of the ball as a wide receiver and as a cornerback. The 21-year-old followed Coach Prime Deion Sanders to Colorado, embracing him after the announcement and telling GMA how much Sanders has meant to him.
He meant a lot to me, you know. He helped me out in a good amount of ways, you know. He's more than a coach to me.
Hunter is expected to be one of the first picks in next year's NFL draft. When we come back, the scary moments for the legendary Dick Van Dyke, how he escaped his home as a wildfire raged, and the heroes who saved him. Finally tonight, the legendary Dick Van Dyke and why he's especially grateful.
These guys I owe my life to and my house to. So God bless you guys.
Actor Dick Van Dyke is counting his blessings today after flames neared his home last Tuesday, the same week of his 99th birthday.
Out to the roof.
Quick-acting neighbors and Good Samaritans saved him and his house from a rapidly spreading wildfire near his home in Malibu. The Hollywood legend, famous for Mary Poppins, The Dick Van Dyke Show, and a new viral Coldplay music video still managed to make light of the dramatic fire.
I said, what kind of a birthday is this?
As the fire raged all around him, he tried to set up a fire hose in the backyard on his own before the Good Samaritans jumped into action.
I couldn't get up, and they had to pick me up and carry me to the car.
Got him in the car and buckled him in, and just as he did, he grabbed my arm and he said, please don't let my house burn down.
Their actions saved Van Dyke's home of 40 years. They even found his beloved cat, Bobo, who went into hiding during the fire. Grateful for those neighbors who saved his belongings and his life, Van Dyke says he isn't done yet.
I need more time. I got plans.
Still has things to do. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Lindsay Davis. David Muir here tomorrow. Until then, have a great night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.